We're going to see some spectacular performances tonight here in Indianapolis. So we come to the end of the first rotation, and it has really been something special so far. No surprise here, the Soviet Union in first place. We wait for the second rotation to start. Let's take you back to some earlier round highlights, because there are a lot of teams all of a sudden starting to get into contention a little bit in the sport of gymnastics. The Bulgarians, for instance, had a very good competition here. This is Silvia Mitova in floor exercise.
And watch her tumbling technique. Opens with a beautiful and very difficult double layout. Unique choice of music and style, all her own. Finished with a very impressive final tumbling run. Her power is very deceiving. She doesn't look like she should have the power to generate this type of tumbling run. Double back, punch front. The changes had such a great feeling.
So the Bulgarians kind of on the threshold of really moving into the upper echelon of the sport of gymnastics once again. But I'll tell you, if there was really a crowd pleaser, it had to be the Australian team. This is Julianne Monaco of Australia, and they did so well here.
This is probably the most dramatic and impressive improvement of a gymnastics team that I've ever seen. Obviously, an extraordinary amount of work went into this improvement.
This team really captured the fancy of the crowd here at the Hoosier Dome, too.
Certainly did. They employed a new Chinese coach a few years back, and they made some dramatic improvements in the overall program. These young ladies are very well coached.
Remember, the first 12 teams go on to the Olympic Games in Barcelona. So this was kind of a serve notice performance for the Australians.
Really, of all the teams in the competition, they probably had some of the best form that we've seen.
Also had some of the best team spirit that we saw here at the Hoosier Dome. They were together at all times, in the arena, outside the arena, downtown in Indianapolis.
They were 16th as a team in Stuttgart just 2 years ago. Now they find themselves in 6th place. Remarkable.
And again, we talked about the team spirit. There's the coaching staff with them. Australia really captured the crowd. Well, the Spanish men will not be participating in Barcelona, but the Spanish women will. Eva Maria Rueda on the uneven bars.
And we have been delighted with her performances over the last couple of years. Unfortunately, Spain had to compete without one of their top gymnasts, Alicia Fernandez, who tore her Achilles tendon.
2 years ago, this is a team that finished in 10th place in these championships.
It really seems as if the Spanish have a chance of winning some individual medals at least at the Olympics next year. They are very powerful.
So just a few teams to tuck away in your memory bank, perhaps as soon as Barcelona in 1992. Bulgaria, Australia, Spain, and Hungary. They will finish 5, 6, 7, and 8 in these World Championships. Coming up next, the United States. They're headed to the beam. Second rotation after this. Finishes her warm-ups on the beam. That's where the United States women will be this rotation. Here is the order: Michelle Campy, Hillary Grivich, Carrie Strug, Betty Aquino, Shannon Miller, and, of course, Kim Zmeskal. First up for the United States will be Michelle Campy.
Michelle has played an extremely important role so far in this American story and continues to do so. She's the lead-off gymnast on every single event for the Americans, which comes with a lot of pressure.
Remember, this was an 8-man squad just before the competition. 6 athletes were selected to compete, 2 thus becoming alternates, Sandy Woolsey and Elizabeth Crandall, and it did create a bit of a flap.
2 layout step outs. Very well executed.
Michelle, by the way, is coached by Rick Newman, who used to coach with Bela Karolyi down in Houston, and Geza Pozar, the man who defected the same day Bela did. He's a Romanian choreographer. Now they live out in Sacramento.
As you know, it was a difficult decision for the coaches to make in terms of who would compete in the final 6. They decided on Michelle Campy, even though she's very inexperienced in international competition, because they thought the judges would appreciate this style. Just beautiful elegance. Double back dismount. Great landing. She has done a terrific job in this very pressure situation.
And she knows it, and she gets the obligatory hug once again from Bela Karolyi as we look at Eugenia Popa of Romania, the Romanians in this rotation in floor exercise.
The Romanians certainly put a lot of pressure on the Americans in the first rotation, hitting beam so well. In fact, they made up some ground.
Something from the West Side Story.
Most of the Romanians chose American music for obvious reasons.
Michelle Campy, 9.862 on beam.
Eugenia was a member of the World Championship team for the Romanians 2 years ago in '89. She won a silver medal in the team competition there.
In this tumbling pass, you'll see she changes directions after the double twist. She does a punch front. Final tumbling run, which is a very difficult one, double back into a punch front somersault.
I have to admit the choreography is rather unimaginative, don't you think?
I would agree. I don't care for the Romanians' choreography.
But the tumbling's good.
Tumbling is great. And certainly the choreography is not bad. I like the Soviets and the American a little bit better.
Choreography, if you don't mind a layperson's opinion, is almost independent of the music.
That's a pretty expert opinion, actually, Barry.
So Eugenia Popa of Romania. Here's another look.
This is perhaps the best tumbling run. Round off back handspring. Double back right to a punch front. This is very difficult, tough on the Achilles tendon, and especially at the end of the routine.
9.825 for Eugenia Popa. Very representative score in floor exercise. As we look at Betty Okino now, the United States on the balance beam. Won the United States Championships in this particular discipline.
This is an excellent event for Betty. It's a place where she can really show off those long lines.
It's interesting, you guys have both been talking about long lines and how tall she is, and she's 5'1".
Doesn't she look like a giant
out there? She does.
Here's her most difficult tumbling pass. 2 layout step outs in a row. 1, 2. Very nicely done. Betty is capable of performing a triple turn on 1 foot. And the last I heard, she's opted not to do it in the team competition for consistency's sake. It would be right here. Nope, just the double, but boy, that's terrific. Very difficult to spot, very risky.